Since 2 weeks ago, I never made a finger joints. My first finger joints happened 2 weeks ago. How come? If I needed a box, I dovetailed it together. I guess I never had to make a green and green furniture, because if you make that, the drawers are finger jointed together. I was almost against the finger joints. Then I ordered the Lee Nelson shooting plane. It came in a beautiful cardboard box. Within the box was these knotty pine box with finger joints. I looked at them. I said, it looks quite interesting. I know he can make a nice plane, but where he got this box? I'm sure they make it. So let me show you how do we make a finger joints. Before we start cutting, we have to understand finger joints, just like dovetails, they are going into each other. If you want to make a box 10 inch by 10 inch, dovetailed or finger joint, you need all pieces 10 inch long because they are going into each other. We're going to make a box which is 8 by 10. So I have already cut 2 pieces of 10 inch and 2 pieces of 8 inch. And I have to have a little scrap because I do want to try what am I doing. Let me explain to you how is it done. We have a dado blade in there about 3/8 of an inch wide. If you need thicker, if you're using thicker wood, you want to make wider. You put in there perhaps a 1/2 inch, even as much as a 3/4 inch dado set. And this little box, the 3/8 gonna look good. You need a piece in the back. You have to cut a slot. In other words, I backed up my sled, put a piece in there. This is what I'm gonna use for registering the cuts. What I did is push through the sled, did 1 cut. This is indicating how wide the joint's gonna be. What you need to do is cut a strip of wood the same size, it fits into that nice and snug, nice and snug. Now you glue this in. This is a little less high than the cut, but the same thickness. You glue this in to that just like I did already. With the magic of the DVD, we can keep going. We clamp this on here. Use this thickness. That's how far away I clamp it from the dado set. Just like that. So I clamp it on there. Check the width again. How far is from the blade? Just right. The height of the blade has to be the same as the thickness of the wood. Maybe a tad more, just a tad more. I will do the test cut and I will check my blade height, double check it. Simply, I'm going to start with a full cut and keep repeating my cuts. It's very simple and quick. What I'm looking for is, once I put this down, I want to make sure it's tight on the bottom corner. You don't want to be high. You want to make sure those things are the same thickness. These finger joints work very nicely if you do 2, 3. But I find out how more I do, how harder it is to put it together. The only way I find it to put it together easier, if I put a little shim in it. I have to take the dado set apart and put a little shim, a few thousand. They sell shims. They don't sell it when you order a set of dado blade. It comes with shims. I simply, a thin piece of cardboard, a business card, cut a hole on it, put it on there, and then I cut the second set. Give me a chance to change the blade and I will do the other. So the first set we cut against the block. Now for the second set, I am putting the same block there, push the piece against it, and I start cutting. You have to understand what am I doing here. My dado blade now is a tiny bit bigger than the first time. Therefore, when I push this through, I have to keep going, pushing it to the right. Each cuts I am doing, keep it on the right, because if I would go left, right, it would be all over. So because the blade is cutting a tiny bit thicker, I have to push each time I cut to the right side of that little block. So this is a very acceptable box joint. Let's see how they fit. It's a little room for the glue, and that's what I wanted to. It's a beautiful, beautiful tie joint. We're going to glue it together and clean it up to show you how good it really looks. Round off the corners a little bit. It's a very nice joint. This is the first box I ever made with finger joints.